Sun in the hizzle, all for shizzle dizzle. We got an excellent show here today. We're gonna be discussing. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay. Check email. Check email. Getting a nature. Ooh. Check email. Okay, getting Nature Made on here. Let's see, invites, Gmail, and was it? Give me 1 second. I need to get this email out. Let's see here. Get the email out. Okay. I think it's. Is it not? No. Is it? Okay, need email. Okay, y'all. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about alopecia and how it affects people. And my sister. Let's see. Alopecia. So as y'all know, we have 2 shows today. We got 2 lineups. We're going to do the alopecia with Nature Made, and then we're going to do also a show later on today with Fela Nazarene involving
wow, dude. It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Therapy Thursdays, so we're gonna have her come on later.
I'm going to, okay?
Or if she's not busy, maybe she can join us on this show. That would be nice. Hey, what up, Deacons? Shout out to you, Deacons. Hey, shout out. I don't know if okay, let me just give a call right here. Okay, just waiting on the call there.
Wow.
Yeah, we're live.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay. Out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Okay. We will get started. What's going on, Deacons of Reality? Yeah, we got 2 shows today. You know, here in Georgia, it is raining like there's no tomorrow. So, I stacked up 2 shows. Hey, let's say, hey, why not? Definitely. Okay, waiting for my phone to send the dang email so we can get started.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Let's see. There we go. There we go. Okay, so invite. Boom. Boom. Here we go. Right there. Okay, message sent. Okay, we're all set, y'all. We are all set. Boom. We need rain here. Send it our way. Hey, you can have it, Deacon. Man, boy, we've been raining for a whole week, and they're expecting more rain next week. Yo, we about to get flooded in Georgia. We about to really get flooded here. Oh, what the heck is that? The lens. Okay, so yeah, we about to get really flooded here in Georgia with all this damn rain. At least my plants are getting watered, so you know. Yeah, so I don't have to do that. So yeah, just just like I said, we're gonna have Fela later on at 6. Nature Made is coming on right now. Let me see if Yep. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna get it started. So yeah, Deacon, we're gonna deal with alopecia. That's the topic that Nature May wanted to deal with today. So we're definitely accommodating her with that topic, and she will join us shortly. But yeah, man, what's going on, Deacons, man? What's going on, man? What's the haps, man? What's the his apps and the triz apps? What is going on? So yeah, not much into bros going on. Just talked to Yanga yesterday. So he's back and forth going to Cleveland right now. So he's leaving Atlanta, traveling, dealing with some situations up in Cleveland. So yeah, shout out to Yanga. Have a safe trips. Just practicing my sax and a lot more. Okay, cool. Okay. Deacon's doing saxophone. Okay. You preparing for a gig? What's going on? Is it gig time? You know, summertime they got a lot of gigs, a lot of festivals and all that. So yeah, I know that's safe travels to Yanga. Yeah. So yeah, I'm thinking you're practicing, so you probably got some festivals coming up. You know, they here in Georgia we got like a lot of jazz festivals, a lot of let's see, jazz. Well, we have a lot of festivals. Just period. You know, we got a lot of music events that they have, outdoor music events here that they have, mostly downtown. And then, well, they actually try to circulate around. It used to be back in the day where downtown, but now we got so many enclaves in Georgia to where they don't have to mess with downtown no more. It can kind of compete with, I guess, the prices or whatnot or whatever the venues. So I mean, you got venues everywhere now. I'm working on it to get get the gigs. Okay, cool. Yeah, man. The gigs, fun thing to do. Just stay cool and hydrated because if they have you outside, sometimes it's well, you know, they sometimes they accommodate the musicians with shade, and sometimes they don't. So playing instruments when the sun is beating down on you can be a challenge. You know, I'm a musician too, so I know. I know, Deacon. I can play well, but I'm working on the nuances. Okay. Well, like I said, just like I said, whatever gig you play, make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure they have a nice shade, man. I hope you guys have a nice what do they call it? Canopy or whatever. I don't even know what they call that, but you know, to shield the musicians against, you know, the elements because like I said, when you're playing in certain type of weather, it could be a challenge. It could be a challenge depending on, you know, especially Texas, it being so hot and humid. You definitely want to just take precaution, like I said, you know, dealing with the instruments. And then I'm not sure, you know, I ain't played wind instruments in such a long time. I'm trying to, I could, you know, playing guitar and drums, the heat and sometimes the cold can affect the tuning. You know, it could affect the tuning. So I can't remember how that affects wind instruments, if it does or doesn't. You have to let me know, Deacon. I can't remember. Uh, there were there are some wonderful musicians lined up for the Atlanta Jazz Festival. Oh yeah. We have one of the biggest jazz festivals, I would say, in the country. I think we have the largest. And then we have like the largest calypso. Well, I don't want to say the largest calypso. I don't know how they do in Miami, but the calypso, reggaeton. You know, we have a lot of are constantly battling in condition. Yep, that's what I thought. Yeah, I know. Especially dealing with a lot of heat and humidity, wind instruments can be a challenge. So, uh, yeah. Trust me, I that's why I kind of because I played was it trombone and I played trombone and I played and was it trombone? And I immediately went to drums after that, man, because the wind instruments, I know they were just high maintenance, man. There was a lot of high maintenance, a lot of. I was just like, damn, I wasn't ready for all that. You know, I'm in junior high school at the time, so yeah, drums was you come in with your drumsticks, and of course you got to tune. You know, you got your little drum gear and you know. Um, I switched to synthetic reeds for the summer to keep the tuning. Okay, yeah, that's what I remember. The you got the synthetic reeds, which are no more expensive than the wooden ones. Or correct me if I'm wrong, Deacon, but I know going in high school we had the wooden reeds, and a lot of time because after a while they would get wore down. You have to replace them. But the synthetic ones, this is probably yeah, way more expensive. That's what I thought, right? Because you're not dealing with the constant changing out. I'm assuming the synthetic lasts 3 times as long as the wooden reeds. The wooden reeds, man, you know, synthetic reeds are now $25 a pop. I believe that. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I absolutely believe that. So, yeah. Okay. Nature Maid's getting ready. Let's see. We're 11 minutes in. We only got an hour show, so hey. Um, but yeah. Um, check. Let's see. Check your email. Damn. Okay. So yeah. Yep. 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 Check the email. Nature Mom has a wonderful voice. I wonder if she can. Oh, funny you asked that. She's a singer. Yep, she sings. She sings. What type of music does she sing? She sings like I guess you call it contemporary. You know what? I'm gonna let you ask her when she comes on because I don't want to damn. I don't know what style that is. I think it's international, or I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what style it is, but I know. Yeah, yeah. Just definitely, we're gonna wait until she comes on. She can pretty much say what style she, because she tried to get me to come to Poland, and I'm like, I'm not going to Poland. What, Poland all the way to Poland play some bass? No, my band years are way behind me, yo, way behind me. No, I don't have the passion anymore per se. It was fun at the time, but no. Oh, you know, getting bandmates together, people being late, you know, shit like that. Mm-mm. I'm real bad when people are late. I'm early and people are late. So yeah, no, 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 no. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I don't know what style she sings. I don't know what style, but yeah, I'll ask her. But like I said, you know, the whole band thing is, I know, you know, shout out to all you people in bands and play instruments, man. And shout out to you people that try to keep okay, what's
Hi,
going on?
hi. Sorry for the being late today.
Yeah, we were just talking about people in bands and how they be late, and yeah, Deacon said, oh, she's a singer. I was like, yeah, and wanted
Uh,
me to be, but you know, I can't do the late thing.
no, well, it's not for being a flaky artist. It was actually for being a writing some academic papers. I had to write 6 of them this week, so I
Right, right.
had a few
Oh
very
yeah, we
late
just messing.
nights.
Yeah, we
Yeah, no,
messing
it's
around.
good though.
Yeah.
But I when I came upstairs after submitted my last paper today, I was like, oh,
Hmm.
I just don't fall asleep,
Oh
and I fell
yeah,
asleep.
yep. Fell asleep. Yep, yep, yep.
So yeah, time zone differences, but next time I'll set an alarm, make sure
Okay, no
I'm awake
problem.
for this.
No problem.
But
No problem.
so sorry, everyone. I didn't mean to like leave you waiting. I'm gonna put my my phone on do not disturb so that we can focus in and dive into this subject.
Okay.
So hello to everyone out there. Sorry I'm late. So our topic is, hi Deacon. Our topic today is alopecia.
Right.
So this is going to be a fun one for me because I have a lot to uncover to everyone. A lot of information that really took a lot of deep digging in
Right.
order to find. And, I read through a lot of nursing journals, a lot of medical reports. Um, and yeah. I mean, let's start it off. Where would you like to begin, Black Star?
Um, I would like to begin. So I saw this post on social media called, different styles. And one sister was talking about, yeah, if you got the Afro style, you need to just don't fuck with it style. Meaning the hair is so sensitive that anything will cause it to fall out. And don't fuck with it means just let it
Just
grow.
let it grow.
Right.
Okay, so and she
Excuse me
was
for cursing.
talking about the afro in the context of alopecia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but she wasn't a really expert, but she was just more or less talking about how I forgot what the type. I think it's called C4, where it's straight out of Africa, meaning just grows in a fro, and it is intolerant to any type of straightening, intolerant to any type of anything that's
Right.
just not natural.
Right.
So yeah.
Um so let's talk about like what alopecia is.
Okay.
Because what a lot of people have to understand is what we're dealing with, and then what we're actually seeing happening on
Right.
people. Matter of fact, the essay that I just turned in yesterday
Right.
was specifically on the topic of the type of balding, the pattern balding that I'm seeing.
Right.
Okay, so I'm trying to right now pull up the study. I left it open specifically after I finished writing my paper. I wanted to leave it open
Okay.
for the audience here to have a deeper understanding. What's very interesting that I would like to share with everyone is that when you are researching information, there's like the general information that you can
Right.
get on Google. There is even a Google Scholars. If people aren't aware of that, you can Google Scholars, and then a whole new search engine by Google will come up, and it's
Okay.
supposed to be more academic, peer based writings.
Right. Right. That
And
should come up anyway. That's what I'm thinking. That should come first.
this, when you're reading the news, when you're getting information, you would want to get the truth first, right? You
Right,
would think
right. Get the correct
that would be
information.
that
Right.
you would think that would be the way to go,
Think
but
it's a
no.
no-brainer, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's not how our world works.
Nope.
And we are intentionally misled quite often. So when
That's
we're
why I get a
talking
lot of
about,
arguments with people on nutrition. I'm just like,
right,
okay,
right,
where's the
oh,
peer
that
review documents? I'm just like, oh wow.
yeah,
Okay.
we could have a whole long conversation about that as well if
We
you
should make
like.
that another show.
There we go.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I've had people vehemently attack me on diet and nutrition. I'm just like,
uh,
y'all just don't know.
we can go into some scientific information and some peer reviewed information. So I'd be happy to help with any
Okay.
type of topic along those lines. So back to alopecia. I'm pulling up for you guys my research notes that I made specifically for tonight, and we're gonna talk about what alopecia actually is. So sorry if I'm looking crazy in the screen. It's because I'm actually pulling up each one of the studies that I saved tonight for this conversation.
Right.
Okay, so I think one of the things that we need to understand here, and just let me get to this last study here. Mm, Here we go. Dermatology. Are the different types of alopecia that are out there.
Right.
Um, One more moment. Sorry, I'm still setting up.
Oh,
Normally,
so
I
you
would have
said
this
different
ready
types.
beforehand. Huh?
Right. That's fine. So you said many types.
Yes, yes, sir.
Wow. Okay.
Even men have alopecia.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So this pattern baldness is a form of alopecia as well.
Right. Oh, we got Mellow Cap in the building. Hello, Mellow Cap. We got Black Onyx Daughter. Shout out.
Hi,
Shout out.
everyone out
Yeah.
there.
And y'all can join the
Okay.
panel if you like.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Um, Wait, no, no, this is not. Okay, so I'm not. I lost one page, which would take me just way too long to reopen because back to how we get information.
Right.
When you're trying to get peer reviewed, let's say like approved information that people will have to be accountable for,
Mm-hmm.
that information is locked away. So you have to pay for it, or you have to be a part of some type of organization in order to have access to it.
Right.
With me being a part of an academic
College. Yeah.
organization, I have free access to it.
That's right.
I have a friend he's a scientist, so he's able to get me free access through his
Right.
science association to any journals that have been written.
Okay.
So yeah, you have to be connected. It's like getting
Mm-hmm.
into a club. If you want
Mm-hmm.
to get the real information, you got to be a part of a VIP group.
That's right.
So it's just interesting how that works. The other question is, why does it work that way, particularly when we're talking about conditions that we're all encountering every day?
Right.
Why are people having to, search for information about baldness when it is so rampant in white
Mm-hmm.
culture, in Black culture,
Right.
Asians, etc.?
Yes.
We're all trying to, navigate aisles and aisles of cosmetic products that are supposed to be helping us with this. So if
Mm-hmm.
we have to navigate such a huge labyrinth, shouldn't this information be readily available to us?
Right.
And the answer is no. Um, so the next question I had to ask was, well, why is that? Why don't we have that free access available? I had to find out who are the main stakeholders here who would want that information to be hidden.
Right.
And what I've uncovered in my deep studies for this last 5 weeks is that the main stakers of the cosmetic industry, of course, are
Of
your big
course.
companies. You have your L'Oreals, your Clariols, your, Garniers, and all these
Right.
other big companies who have, and since, the turn of the century, have had big stakes
Right.
in this industry and have been fighting for leadership in this industry
Right.
ever
Right.
since.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, let's even go back to, major players like, you know, um, Madam C.J. Walker and,
Right.
Madam Malloy, e- even these players in within the Black community themselves were learners of the conditions and the situations that worked well for us
Right.
and that weren't working well for us. The
Wow.
intricacies of how the cosmetic industry was helping us, and the how they were working only for profit.
Right.
Um, and the bottom line is that even the great Madam C.J. Walker, when it came to hair products, used a straightening technique.
Right.
There were skin whiteners in her cosmetic
Right.
lines,
Are we surprised
and
though?
and she didn't call them skin whiteners because she wanted to not be like the big white owned companies that were like, if you want to be more beautiful, you want to bring out the best of you. These were their
Right.
slogans,
Right. Of
then
course.
use our skin whiteners,
Mm-hmm.
that would bring out the best of you, black person.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the issue is we've had these ingredients inside of our cosmetics
Mm-hmm.
that have been with us for a very long time. They have been actually indoctrinated into our mentality, into our emotions,
Mm-hmm.
and they
Talk
have
about
been
it.
carrying through us from generation to generation.
Right.
So now let's now we understand, like, you know why this control would be so controlled. So let's be specific about who helped control it. Because we did have, the Black is Beautiful movement, where in the
Right. Yeah.
1960s, you know people were actually, even earlier than that, there were people who did not straighten their hair
That's
for
right.
non-political reasons, but it was actually more for convenience. Ding 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 ding. It was for convenience that women were not straightening their hair as early as the late 1950s. um, and it wasn't until the Black is Blue Beautiful movement that all of a sudden the huge cosmetic industries decided, ah, this is a very new area to tap into a brand new clientele. And let me just say, these industries struck oil,
Hmm.
it- literally black gold.
Right. Literally.
And we were the black gold, and we still are to this day.
Right.
Let's talk about a little bit of
So you
statistics.
say they have to construct a certain mindset to make you a consumer?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Oh, you're not wearing
the
Chanel. You're not wearing Gucci.
yes, you're
You're
not
not wearing Nike.
exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Exactly.
Wow.
So, it's the same. I mean, even to this day, I was reading actually, I even saved it for this conversation today.
Mm-hmm.
L'Oreal's Caratis line, if I'm not saying it incorrectly. Don't sue me, L'Oreal, because you won't get a dime. But bottom line is, they have really created a science that they
Of
have been
course.
developing for decades.
Of
And the
course.
science, when we look at the ingredients, the science isn't, let's say, improving our
Right.
health status. Particularly, let's talk about some things, you guys. We're talking about some ingredients that are, I made a blacklist.
Right.
These ingredients are in probably 90% of the products you'll find on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
These ingredients are carcinogenic.
Of course they are.
They have been linked to alopecia, many forms of alopecia.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they have been linked to um, breast cancer. They have been linked to skin cancer,
Mm-hmm.
many different cancers, and they are allowed to be in general cosmetic products that you will put on your children, that you will put on
Jeez.
yourself, that you will put on your parents,
And the FDA
all in
just
the
lets
name
it
of health.
slide.
And,
FDA is
and
like, oh, go ahead.
oh,
Go ahead.
F- FDA is
Are
getting
you
paid too.
you giving it to the niggers? The niggers, you
Yeah.
get
Oh
giving them a
yeah.
double dose. Yeah, take it. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you do start to feel like you're thinking that way
Right?
because of just like why
You mean to help me to eradicate the niggers?
you
Well,
know
put goddamn two for one special. That's right. I do
But
love
the
brothers.
thing that I had to realize was that there was no discrimination to it.
Right,
It
right. Of
was
course.
capitalization that was more important. They'll do it to the white constituents as well as the
That's right.
Asians and the blacks. They don't care
Facts.
as long as they get your money. But what
That's
they
right.
did discover during this Black is Beautiful movement was that they were able to tap into a community that spent money on cosmetic products
Right.
at a disproportionate rate to any other ethnic group, any other group of people.
Damn.
And we're talking about a 97% disproportionate consumption
Wow.
over any other group. So,
And I'm assuming that would take its own research to find out
oh,
why that is uh
well, a lot.
disproportionate.
I think that through this work research that I've done, we're looking for many things,
Okay.
in the Black community, from the time of slavery itself.
Right.
We're looking for the beauty and the acceptance that gets others privileges and that doesn't get us any longer beat down. The very first
Mm,
thing that happened when Black women were brought to slave ships
right.
in at the 17th century was their hair was removed from their head. They were
Damn.
immediately
Shaved.
dehumanized
Right.
immediately because they knew from many of the tribes that they were taking these women, these I call them prisoners of war form.
Hmm.
They knew that their hair, the intricate styles, the things that were in their hair, the way that they wore their hair, these were symbols of status,
Right.
of fertility,
That's right.
of tribe, of beauty,
Yes.
of strength, and all of that had to be removed to start dehumanizing this person to
That's right.
make them into a machine for working.
Right.
So this, when you ask the question, why are we disproportionately the consumers of these products? Is because we are still, somehow maybe in our genetics trying to regain that glory that we once had within us and that was brutally stripped away.
Right.
So I think that that's something very deep in our psyche. I think that the way that it was exacerbated was when the Black is Beautiful movement was capitalized on and was its meaning diminished for product purchases, for promotion, for marketing. And so instead of the industry, let's say, honoring and respecting the identity that was being built from that movement, what they did was they started to L well, I'm not saying this just to be ironic, but they were starting to whitewash
Right.
that movement. They it it wasn't important for them, to
How did they
um
manage? Because you talk about the Black Power movement.
mhm.
Now I'm assuming, Nature Mom, that this was a slow, subtle process. But how did they not
Oh,
recognize?
no.
Because
It wasn't a
oh
slow,
shoot,
subtle
what?
process, actually. It was an
Oh shoot.
aggressive process for
Oh.
marketing. The cosmetic industry was excited to have this potential and to see not only what was this group, a new marketing group,
Hmm.
but to see the amount that they were willing to spend. This was apparent from the beginning that the amount that they were willing to spend on these products was at such a big disproportion to other groups. It was from the start. So no,
Okay.
there was no subtleness to it. It was a very direct, fast, hard marketing
Wow.
campaign.
So it's like
And
a
it was
fast direct
very
assault.
Oh yeah, it
Oh
was
shoot.
successful.
Right.
Yeah. No, this was they did everything. Especially, this is now at the time of, the Civil War. I mean, sorry, not Civil War. I was also
Black
reading about this.
exploitation, Pam
Uh
Grier.
No, actually,
No.
this is pre
Oh, pre.
all
Okay.
that era. This
Okay.
was about pre-civil rights era.
Okay.
And as this Black is Beautiful movement started to move along, and and when these women were coming out and in their communities with these beautiful afros, and they were finding their own styles, they were using more African products in their fashion.
Hmm.
um we're going back to the stakeholders here, guys, and don't shoot me down, but I'm gonna lay it to you bare. It was a big part. Many Black hair care salons were offended. Many church communities were offended. They did
Whoa.
not like to see these women basking in their full, Afro glory, because it completely went against the ideologies of what their standards of beauty were at that time. Little did they know they were already completely brainwashed into believing that the Eurocentric standards were standards of beauty.
Wow.
But when
Wow.
these Black women started wearing afros, because men were already wearing afros in a small group, but when the
Right.
women started to wear it, then it became a huge challenge. It became a challenge for these women. They were really pioneers. These women were standing up for their own standards of beauty with boldness. And so what the a large portion of the Black community did, what a large portion of the cosmetic industry did, was let me restate this. The cosmetic industry embraced this Black is Beautiful, this Afro movement, much faster than the Black community itself.
Right.
Um, that's where you get terms like pickaninny. You get terms like nappy. You get terms,
Right.
that were derogatory. These derogatory terms didn't come from outside of the Black community. They came from within.
Of course. Of course.
So, this is something we really have to understand when we go back to that conversation about how deep in our psyche have we sustained trauma that has carried from generation to generation, and we have imposed these this bullying onto our children, like, knowingly or not. So I think that this is something that's very important to understand and to have conversations about and to heal from.
Right.
Can't expect other people, to say sorry and heal, you know, if
Right.
we
Right.
are not willing to say sorry and heal ourselves.
Right. Right.
So, and this standard still has a residual effect. So let's going back to this alopecia. So what we're usually seeing is this particular type of alopecia, and I'm so sorry, you guys, but my I'm not getting this library that I have to log into open fast enough, and I would have to go back to because once you time out, they shut everything down. They're like, nope,
Right,
you don't
right,
get the
right.
information
Yeah, yeah.
anymore.
And it's probably
Yeah,
because you're doing a live too. They probably just want your connection just to be strictly towards their library, and anything else uh, probably bells and whistles go off when it doesn't seem like
maybe,
a full stream. So I can understand the
maybe.
security, precautions.
Right. So we'll stick to my academic papers here because I do
Okay.
have a lot of that still. Luckily, I took copies of some things here. Also, I did in my. You know what I did, you guys? I also bookmarked some things. Um, and let me just figure out how to get into my bookmark. Technology, it is my friend. Okay, so let's just continue this conversation as I figure out the technical, how to get back to these things that I just saved and threw somewhere.
Okay.
Um, So, the question that I asked in one of my thesis statements this week was, if we know that these ingredients have these adverse side effects, and we know that these things cause cancer, that it's causing a baldness that is,
Right.
like permanently damaging in some situations. Because let's think about this. It might surprise you guys to find out, but when you are actually, putting these chemicals on your head, I'm sure many women and men who have straightened their hair use texturizers or no lie, cream relaxers. Uh, you leave it on too long and you find that you have some type of irritation,
All right.
or
A
you
burn.
find that you actually end up with scalp burns. So these are chemical burns. And just as if you got burned by some type of high acidic product, a high alkaline product, which is what these cream relaxers are. They're high alkaline.
No kidding.
And yes, exactly.
I thought they were
They're high.
acidic. Okay.
No,
Wow.
they're
The
high
alkaline.
alkaline. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And they are they're burning your skin. If you've ever seen someone who suffered severe burns, usually you see where their skin, especially if it's on their face or their hands or some visible part of
Scars.
their body, you can see
Hmm.
permanent scarring.
That's right.
And this type of permanent scarring is also happening on our scalps.
Right. Absolutely.
And so over time, these the scalping is actually completely closing over hair shafts.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So that's one thing to talk about,
So
because I know.
it keloids over because I know when
Um, well, let's say it's scarring. It's
okay,
actually
fine.
creating a permanent scar, because keloid is something very
Okay.
specific in the
Okay.
scarring world. So this is not necessarily keloing, but it is
Okay.
a scarring of the tissue of the
Hmm.
upper dermis that can actually close over those hair follicles. So that
Wow.
means that they won't
And
ever
bury
grow
'em.
back. Yeah,
Right.
they're done.
Damn.
Um, and some of these products have been found to actually go into the hair shaft themselves
Mhm.
and completely start to close the shaft from the
Oh,
inner, yes, cuticle.
what the
And
hell?
yeah, and so
Dang.
that's one point, because I think that these these chemical products, they get a lot of bad rap, which they
Mhm.
deserve.
They deserve it.
um but let me tell you something else. Other processes of hair straightening. The form that Madam C.J. Walker used, which was using a very hot comb to straighten your hair.
Right.
Um, Hi, Deacon. So when you use these hot combs, today we use these flat iron devices that are
Yeah.
heating up. Now we also use hot blow dryers to straighten the hair.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the science of what's happening when you're doing that.
Uh-oh. I'm scared
Okay.
now. 'Cause I
Okay.
use dryers to oh, dang. Oh gosh. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like seeing the needle. Just stick it in. Just
Yeah,
stick okay.
exactly.
Dang.
So when you're using something even as convenient and simple as a hair dryer,
Right.
you are actually boiling the water inside of your hair shaft. When you
Okay.
boil the water inside of your hair shaft, you create brittleness. That hair is dying.
Oh.
So just imagine, you would not put your hair in boiling hot water.
No, right.
Although some people do when they're braiding their hair, and they're, dipping that final hair for, the last look of the hair, and you're dipping your hair along with your extensions into the hot water. You are boiling the water inside of your own hair shaft.
Dang.
Yeah. So Um, just
HMI,
be
you get
aware
that's
of
some
that.
science. Dang, man, you get woo.
Yeah, you need to be
Man,
aware of what's going on. Something that one of the opening lines to my last essay was about, traveling and how when you're able to travel and meet Black women from all over the world, um, um, you start to see patterns.
right.
And one of the patterns that I had to recognize and ask the question is, why am I seeing, women from all over the world
Diaspora
um, with with a with these
edges.
alopecia
Yeah,
edges?
yeah.
So,
Great name for him too. That's a good. That's a great name for him too. Alopecia edges.
but because we're looking at we're wondering like when I say we me and I want to present it in discussion today. What we're looking at when we see these edges is alopecia.
Right.
We so there's one type of alopecia, you guys, that is very related to male pattern baldness.
Mm-hmm.
It's hereditary, and women can get it too. It doesn't show up always the same way as male pattern baldness. It can. So where men will lose the hair on the very top of their head
Mm-hmm.
and it'll kind of like recede towards the edges of their head.
Right.
That is a typical a pattern of alopecia that's related to hormones. This alopecia is due to the DHT in your hormones rising. So
Okay.
your DHT comes from testosterone.
Okay.
So when men have an increased amount of testosterone as they get older, this testosterone can cause baldness.
Right.
So this hormonal issue can also affect women. So there's a rise in testosterone, usually for a varying amount of reasons. Science hasn't exactly put their finger on why some women are getting it at a young age, some women
Right.
aren't getting it until menopause.
Or
It
do
kind of
they
makes sense.
refuse? They refuse to put the studies out because I know the meat, dairy, and egg industry have a lot of studies that they keep
Yes,
under wrap
that they
because they got
don't
the
put
money to do
out.
it. Right.
Right,
So
right. I
yeah,
mean, and when
I'm.
you're
Yeah, it's
thinking about so what I haven't been able to uncover yet, which is something I am on the search for, is seeing a timeline where studies are looking at an increase, maybe finding any relation to food.
right.
So there's a lot out there already, and when you are cross-referencing some of this information, you do see some patterns as well. That's the great thing about learning math, kids. You always ask
Hmm.
that question, why do I have to learn this stuff? Well, this is where it can be very important because patterns are everywhere. And when you can find the patterns, you're doing that math in your head, you can make a synthesis of what could be going on around you.
Right.
So I had to ask myself when I'm seeing, all types of African diaspora women, you know, from country to country with this, very frontal, form of alopecia. It's not in their crown where you'll usually see it. If it's this hormonal alopecia, it's not what usually happens. Like I said, with men, it's on the top. With women, it can be on the top. It can be, making its way into the crown area.
Right.
Um, and it has many different patterns. But this one particular type of edge alopecia is actually stress related.
Okay.
And this stress related alopecia comes not from distress, like let's say emotional or um, like mental distress. It's
Okay.
actually coming from pressure.
Oh.
And yes,
Okay. Yeah.
so this pressure comes about when we're braiding too much, to
Right.
pulling too much with the braiding,
Right.
um, using these like straightening techniques. Like I said, it could be the cream relaxer technique, it could be the blow drying technique, it could be the uh, sorry, I'm still sleeping, guys.
Right. So
But
stress as far as pressure. Yeah. So yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yeah,
Very
it could
important
be the
information.
blow drying technique, it could be the hot combing technique.
Mm,
But putting this pressure at the edge of our hair um, to straighten it. Um, a big culprit of this type of alopecia are ponytails.
right.
Yes, pulling that hair back, to try to get that sleek, smooth look, is a huge factor, along with braiding, along with these different styling techniques that are being used.
Right.
So let's go back to this movement. Why the white industry was so excited, to embrace Black is beautiful, and yet
Right.
within the community there was some trouble with this. And the trouble was, we have been conditioned to embrace this straight hair, showing length, um,
Right.
uh, Eurocentric type of beauty.
Right.
That is what defined beauty standards across the board for many years now. It is intentional, and I want to read a line to you guys. I'm going to pull it up here. I have several documents open, so I need you to be just a little patient with me
No
tonight.
problem. No problem.
Uh,
You bring in the science, and you bring in the science.
there's
Nature
there's a
moms.
few. So here we go. Let's see. Here we go. The thesis. Um, okay. So let's say that even at a point. Do you guys remember the actress Bo Derek? She's an
Yeah.
actress from the
10.
70s.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, from the movie 10.
Hmm.
And she was someone who really revolutionized, this braid style, the
Right.
Funani
I
braid.
remember that. Yeah. Yep.
Um, it's very interesting that at the time that that movie was released, one of the things that I uncovered in my research was that um, it was very acceptable for and embraced by the white community to have these braids. They were like,
Right.
"Wow, this is gorgeous. This is wonderful. Look how great Bo Derek looks."
Right.
But within the Black community itself, it was a problem, for if you had brown skin. Then it wasn't
Right.
so acceptable. It wasn't so beautiful. Um, you know, it was too aggressive in the workplace, were terms
Mm,
that were used, too ethnic.
too ethnic.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, I
And
like that
they
term.
got away with terms like that? Oh, well, of course they
Oh,
did. Yeah.
when
Wow.
I went natural, that's exactly what my boss said to me. He was like, "Wow, you look so ethnic."
What the hell? Wow.
Ah,
I'm
yeah,
tripping.
yeah,
I'm tripping.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and this is in a professional environment,
Hmm.
yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
So, this is, I think it's time to do away with that term ethnic,
Right.
because, what does ethnic mean? Means aboriginal or original.
That's right.
I'm sorry, no, I can't be ethnic when, you've stolen all of my history and my roots, you
Right.
know. Uh, it's I'm not original to this place. We are, I think, as of Black Americans, we are a unique creation of this place.
Right. Absolutely.
But we are not Aboriginal, so no, you can't use that term. Not really.
Right. Right.
It's not accurate. Okay, so let's talk about what we're looking at here. Um, we're asking the question, if if the white community was completely embracing it, they were actually fighting for position as leaders
Of course.
in the black community for hair, and they won that
Whoa, white
position.
people?
Yes, yes,
Oh, y'all hear
absolutely.
this?
Yeah,
Damn.
and they won. They have won.
Of course.
Um, so the problem was there were many black salons who embraced the Black is Beautiful movement because they embraced the political message altogether,
Hmm.
or they just embraced their community members and made the shift. There were many who, let's say, for lack of a better term, actually predicted its demise. And um,
Wow.
a lot of these salons didn't want to service and change and come to a new understanding to care for the black hair. And so it was a real struggle for the natural person if you weren't going to a barber to have this style. So a lot of women started in the late 60s started to ditch the hair salon or the hairdresser and started to go to the barber instead.
Wow.
And because the barber would give them a simple cuts, clean, wash, and done. Um, when a lot of these black businesses started to feel the effects of clientele moving towards the natural movement, because now we're going closer towards the end of the 1960s. Young
Hmm.
people are thinking this is cool. They love, and so here we go with the beginning of the black exploitation era. um
Wow, okay. Mm.
this was cool. This was great. Black Panthers were huge presences in Black communities and doing really amazing things. Feeding children and helping in the community. So they were cool looking. So a lot of the young
Right.
people wanted to look cool, and they were ditching the straightened styles and moving towards this Afro movement. Um, so a lot of the big companies, we're talking about Avon, we're talking about
Right. Revlon, yeah.
L'Oreal, Revlon, um, they started to jump in, and I believe actually, to be more specific, Revlon and Max Factor. I would have to double check my sources because there's a lot here.
Right.
But I believe they were one of the last ones to move into the Black is Beautiful movement because they were actually makeup lines that focused on the movie industry. And so, because we didn't have a lot of Black actresses out there at the time, they didn't really care. It didn't matter to them one way or another.
Right.
So that's why they were late in the game when they realized, oh, that's a huge market we're looking at. Unfortunately, I would say even up until this late day, a lot of companies would try to put makeup out there for Black women and really hit the mark. So this was a difficult one for them to overcome because they didn't even know how to really look at our skin color and the different hues that are
Right.
within our skin colors. I mean,
Right.
all the different undertones. This is something that is becoming a revolution today. Um, and so that's a whole nother topic, but just focusing on hair itself, these companies were really excited. Madam CJ Walker has passed on at this point.
Hmm.
Um, so, all of her ex-clientele were open game. All of the people that followed this particular school, that Madam Malloy and Madam C.J. Walker and others who followed in that ideology, because it was a very specific ideology to the cosmetic industry at the time, where they really wanted to cater to their black clientele, and they felt that they were like raising a whole culture of grooming. And
Right.
so the marketing techniques that were put out there, the words that were said, they were much more careful than our white companies. They were they were just kind
Be
of going
white as
buck wild.
snow.
Oh,
White as right.
ah,
Be
I mean, some of
glistening.
the
Right. On the old
some
commercials.
of
Yeah.
some of the we would have to have a whole 'nother show on
Yeah.
some of the, like, wording, that was put out there. Um,
Right.
but yeah, what was starting to be discovered, though, is that, there were all these picks and combs and sheens and products that could be
Right.
used
Oils. Yeah.
on these natural, women coming out and embracing this. So something you said earlier about an influencer or some social media presence saying that, when you have your natural hair, leave it alone. What was
Yeah. Yeah.
starting to happen at this time was, you had these picks that were used. I actually still have one to this day.
Right.
Um, and, people were just kind of like picking their afro. And there is a type of alopecia that was formed coming from this picking era.
Right.
Um, yeah, this like pulling the hair shaft so much. I don't know. I actually remember, uncles or friends of the family with these huge afros, and it was kind of a style to be outside picking your hair with this pick all the
Mm-hmm.
time to get this
Mm-hmm.
full round look.
Right.
Um, so. Um, that is another stressor, these combs, these brushes. So, when you think about like this edging, where people are constantly brushing at this edge to pull it back, well, you're actually pulling at those hair follicles and creating stress on them. So it's no wonder, that we see this breakage pattern, to start, and then eventually we just see the skin being damaged, sometimes permanently as well. Um, okay, so we went over a lot of history there. I hope
Right.
I didn't
Right.
bore you guys to death with too many facts and too many sleepy,
No, you need
sleepy.
to taking us through the steps. That's fine. I
Yeah,
mean, and I didn't know the Afro pick caused the Afro. Oh man, a lot of stuff
causes
just
alopecia
attacking.
as
Yeah.
well. Exactly. Yeah,
Jeez.
there's a lot of factors out there.
Hmm.
It's skin. It's skin on the top of that head. You wouldn't like pick at your face so constantly,
Hmm.
so but we have been taught in different eras to pick at the skin. So moving along, what happened was, instead of this being a focus, this Black is Beautiful movement on wearing our natural selves is a stand against you forcing, European standards of beauty on us.
Right.
We reject these standards as being the only standards out there. We have our own standards.
Right.
We're going to be developing our own standards. The big marketing of these huge companies were like, okay, let's bring it to a point where we're not gonna like diminish our cream relaxer line. We're not going to take away that stuff. Let's
Right.
let's show how there's a range. So they really
Of
push
course.
this range of, when you're Black, you can wear your hair straight, you can wear it curly. And so it really started to diminish the idea that what we were standing up for was and the opportunity to be our natural selves in
Right.
society.
Wow.
So this was the most, I think, unfortunate side effect of all of this, this marketing. The salons that were starting to go under, and a lot of them start to close, because they didn't want to adapt. They start to rethink their strategies.
Of
And
course.
so they started to embrace this. Well, you can go afro, you can go straight, you can do this, you can do that. Afro is just another style. It's not a movement. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy. That's
That's a
crazy.
very deep
Damn.
message that was given at that time. And so then you start to have this, Afro chic period, having the Afro chic, and the conversation started to happen where it's just a style. So it's in now and it will be out later, and really
Wow.
driving that idea into our psyche that was
Right.
already abused, bruised, and still requiring a lot of psychological healing,
Right.
emotional healing.
Yes.
Um, so moving forward, and Deacon, you're a smart one. You're already like, ahead of the gun. Then you have, this jury curl
Jericho
period.
era. Yep.
So it was a way for, because through these marketing campaigns, they started to, realize, well, we want to embrace this Black is Beautiful movement. We want to get them buying. So,
Mhm.
they started to find all these different ways to get the dollar out of you. And one of the ways was that, yes, Black is beautiful, but it's more beautiful with these products. It's more
Jeez.
beautiful when straighten your curl and
They
then curl
straight
it back up.
co-opted the whole natural. They just co-opted it, man. And now they're defining what black is, what black
Yeah,
beautiful is, and
exactly.
wow.
Yes.
Like the carpet has just been snatched from under our feet.
Yes, exactly.
Damn.
Exactly. And so, then you have, these generations again going forward. Um, just let the soul glow. Exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
Then you had the jury girl that came in.
Yep.
This was the new chic because, your fro wasn't just beautiful in its natural state. It's more beautiful if you straighten it, and then you could wear it straight or you could wear it froey. So,
Damn.
when the jury curl came in, you were able to sell this, bigger curl pattern
Right.
with
And then you
more
had
product.
groups like El DeBarge to push the image and the
Yeah.
Jacksons
Oh,
and the
yeah.
oh
Oh, yeah.
wow, this is
Yeah.
diabolical.
Yes, yes. So there was
Damn.
a lot of planning, and there was even
Jeez.
a quote by Jim Goodnight. I would have to check his name. Of
Okay.
that he was the CEO of L'Oreal at the time,
Mhm.
and his product line was doing so well in the through sales and profit. He made a comment, an accidental slip on national TV to say, yeah, we're going to buy out all of the Black businesses. So then it was
Wow.
this, focus on, yeah, taking
Nappy
over
headed
the whole
hoes.
industry. Say it again.
Nappy headed hoes.
Yeah,
You
that
don't
was
remember
the.
that?
No, I don't remember it.
Oh, there was a big thing. It's gone. Oh, never mind. You know what, Nisa? I mean, I'm gonna have to. It's a
Yeah, you
whole.
have to fill me in on that
Yeah,
one, a
yeah,
nappy-headed
yeah.
hoe.
Nappy headed hoes. Yeah, a guy
Oh,
slipped up and said that on air as the women basketball player were playing, and this guy Don Imus, that was his name, and he said
oh,
nappy headed hoes. Yeah, and
whoa.
you were already out of the country when all that happened. So yeah,
Oh, I didn't
yeah.
know. No, I didn't know
Mhm.
about this.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You missed a lot of stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
a lot of
Thank goodness.
outrageous. Yeah,
Thank
a lot
goodness.
of outrageous stuff going on
Yeah.
here in the U.S. Yeah.
So now you have this era, of like, it was no longer a movement. It was cliched. It was being
Hmm.
natural
Totally co-opted. Yeah.
when natural chic was out, and like Deacon said, all of a sudden you have Jerry curl coming in. You had this big movement of wearing wigs because
Right.
still, at this, time up until even today, we have, the Crown Act that's in place, the Crown Act of 2001, where companies are not allowed to discriminate against the Black natural hair in the workplace, but
Okay.
yet you can have these policies, that can stand against the aesthetic of the company. So on one hand, you have this law saying you can't discriminate against me, but then you have this unspoken pressure from your communities, from your, workplaces that are saying, yeah, black is beautiful, but just don't be too black. Make sure your black looks more like white.
Whoa.
And this started, I think this is really the era that brought us to where we are right now, when the end of the Black is Beautiful, going natural movement of that era was going through, then it became something aggressive to have natural hair or to wear your hair in a braided style, because then it meant that um, you were a feminist. It meant that you were a black activist. It meant you were
Right.
aggressive. They were using these terms, and in marketing, the terms started to really show that the afro was so masculine, it was so
Of
nice on
course.
men. So
Right.
where it started to put women was in this place where, well, if afros are masculine, where are we just lost our foothold of black being beautiful for us. So all of a sudden, it becomes this fight for women, to once again fit in this standard. So a man can have a big beautiful afro, but a woman looks more womanly and more attractive and can
Wow.
get married easier if her hair showed some
Wow.
length, if her, if she's
And they have
scared.
no stats backing this, do they?
No, no, it's not about stats.
Damn. It's not
It
about
was
stats.
about brainwashing,
Jeez.
and they were starting to, make, this brainwashing, this colorism was very rampant within our community anyways. So it
Right.
was very easy for, our community as a whole to be a part of this hijacking, because colorism was so strong. You were seeing it in relationships. The guy was going for the girl who had the straighter, more wavy hair versus the tighter, kinky coils.
And how do they
Um,
push that through the movies, through the music,
Advertisements.
advertisement?
Exact.
Yeah, they pushing that, you know.
Yes.
Man,
Yes. Yeah.
that's oh man.
Yes. And Dinky, absolutely, hair is a big trip in our community.
It
Not just
is.
hair, but skin itself.
That's right.
Has been a very big trip for a long time. It's been a psychological trip that started from slavery and the plantations. Because it was the slaves who were, let's be honest here, you guys, and not beat around the bush anymore. When the plantation owners, the male owners and their sons were sleeping with their black slaves and impregnating them, and having babies, especially at the time where a slave had a baby and the baby was automatically born into slavery.
Hmm.
It didn't matter if that baby had, the plantation owners' genes or not. They were still born into slavery, but they were usually the ones put into a position of hierarchy. They were
Yeah.
brought into the house. They were dressed nicer. They got, the best portions of food. So
Hmm.
this ideology of like lighter is better, whiter is brighter, was passed down to us. It was handed to us.
Hmm.
Um, a very interesting quote, that I've been searching for on the side since we started this conversation is from a writer. Um,
So we're talking about the same. So because I know we talked about at one point, I think we talked about like in Jamaica and Nigeria and all these places how they
mhm.
it was an epidemic with lightning screen cream. So the whole tightening of the
Oh, it
hair and all
still is.
that.
It still
Huh?
is.
It is
It
right,
still
right.
is.
So
Yeah,
how did
yeah.
okay.
It
I'm
still
just
is.
wow. I'm just connecting all this together,
Yeah,
Nature Mom.
yeah.
It's
I
just
mean, especially
wow.
when
I'm
you
looking
look
at
at,
it.
like, it wasn't just we see it from a lens of being within the United States. When you go
Hmm.
globally, colonization was worldwide.
That's
You
right.
know, European countries needed money. They were overspending and went out into the world to try to pay their debts,
Recoup.
to,
Yeah.
recoup the money that they have been losing and spending frivolously for generations. And and it was at the cost of us. And so, when you look at it, it's still at the cost of us because, this European standard was is not something that is a phenomena to the United States.
Right.
It has gone across the world.
Worldwide. Hmm.
This standard of whitewashing human beings went across the
Hmm.
world. You see it in India. You see it
Yeah.
in there was I
All over Africa.
remember I was reading a book recently about meditators, these gurus, these Indian gurus, and how they would take people to the highest states of meditation.
Hmm.
Yet, when it was time for one of the top meditators in the world to, when his daughter came of age to be married, and he was posting her picture because, this is in the 20th century.
Right.
Um, uh, sorry, 21st century. He was lightening the pictures of his daughter. He
Wow.
lost a lot of his followers because of it, because they're
Wow.
like, "Hey, you're teaching us Zen and you're teaching us to be good with ourselves and to meditate these high levels, but when it comes to selling, or marrying off your own daughter, you have to lighten her skin."
Be
Mm,
deceptive. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
this is really carrying and permeating many cultures of people.
Mm, mm,
Um,
mm.
and it comes from way, way back in history. Um, uh, so let's kind of look at, things that we can do, because we're and we're even gonna, unfortunately, a lot of people love dyeing their hair these days. Dyes are also one of
Mhm.
those hair products that are in the realm of stressors.
Mhm.
And they are considered aggressive styling techniques, and they are creating a problem. So
Right.
what did I, let's sum this all up. What did I discover in all of this research was that, yes, men suffer from a generational alopecia. Women also suffer from a very high number of a generational alopecia. What I'm finding is that Black women suffer from multiple forms of alopecia, so multiple forms of baldness at one time. So they're getting it from every direction. So they get it from the genetics, and they're getting it from styling, and they're getting it from the products themselves. So, we are once again, at the front line of
Right.
dealing with, balding,
Right.
in this case, alopecia. It is, f- it is attacking us. We are on first line of defense because we are one of the only groups that I've seen that is dealing with multiple forms of baldness at one time,
Mhm.
and
Wow.
particularly our women.
Right.
So, um,
Right, because the stress starts at an early age. I mean, a very early age where I would say, um, and I always told, but I've always said if you put anything on my daughter's hair, anybody in the, anywho, yeah, there was going to be some fighting. So yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that message was pervade. So yeah, um,
yeah. And I
it's
think that you hit it right on the head. It starts from a young age because, all of the factors related to balding in
mhm,
general, alopecia in general, have to do with your nutrition, have to do with your stress factors,
yeah,
internal and external.
that's right.
And as Black women, dealing with the particular Black people as a whole, but particularly Black women, we have to deal with so many levels of stress, emotional, community wise, psychological, we have to fit so many different standards of beauty that are
Right.
not our own. And,
Hello.
it's time to stand up for ourselves and to claim, our own self acceptance, because even within our community ourselves, there's still a lot of men who are chasing, they want hair down the back. My hair is, let's say, I'll show you guys. My hair is pretty much, um, I mean, I don't straighten it, so, I don't know how long it would be if it was straightened. But, my natural hair on its own goes quite a distance down my back.
Right.
Um, and even um, even with this factor, uh, with it being in my natural state, if I was trying to compete against European standards of beauty, mine would be considered less acceptable because it can go down your back, but it's not straight enough.
Wow.
We are always chasing a barometer of beauty that is absolutely not ours.
Right.
It is not an honor of our identity. It is not an honor of our culture. And
Right.
let's speak, frankly, because even the African community itself in the 1960s, when the Black is Beautiful movement was happening in America, they rejected the Afro.
Yep.
They said it was American. This is
Yep.
their
Yep.
thing. We were excluded from being a community at that point. So where we
Hmm.
really stand is we have to find within ourselves, each individual person, our own standards of self-acceptance, and understand the things that works against us. Understand the things that we are dismembering ourselves to
Right.
fit a
Right.
standard and a
Right.
barometer you will never meet.
Achieve. That's right.
Um, You'll never meet it
That's
because
right.
if you try to meet that standard, you get close and they say, but that's not good enough. So you're still chasing a finish line that moves.
Right. Right. Keep moving the goalposts.
Yeah. So,
Just like Jesus Christ. He say gonna come today, don't come, then gonna come tomorrow. He don't never come.
it's Y2K for hair. You know, we,
Oh, dang.
you know, you'll never meet this standard. And, so I think that, like, the final question that I've always been left
Mm.
with at the end of all this research, that leads me to the next research, is okay, so if we are 97% of today, this cosmetic industry is worth $97.4 trillion.
Right.
97.4 trillion. I was about to say billion and I realized no, it's even more. It's
So right.
97 point trillion.
Yeah.
And you know, out of that 97.7, 97 is coming up a lot. We
Yes.
are 97% of its consumers.
Dang. And 97 is a magic number.
97 is a magic number. They estimate that this industry is going to be worth over $108 trillion
Mm-hmm.
over the next 10 years. And yet we have no leaders leading the what's going into these products. We have no leaders who are researching what fits our standards of self-care and of health that can also be a part of enhancing our beauty. We have no leaders who are standing in the forefront of the products that our children are picking up off the shelves.
Right.
So I think that that's a really important conversation to have, because every dollar spent is also a vote, and we are voting when we spend those dollars as to what we're going to allow them to put, what we're going to allow the FDA to approve. Some of
Hmm.
these products are arguably as um, as damaging as a harsh narcotic,
Yeah,
and yet there is
yeah.
no control. There are no groups standing up and saying, science is showing has been showing us some damaging effects of these ingredients for a while. When are we going to say no to this? Even Europe itself has a completely different standards, and that's why many of our American products are have a totally different formula in Europe, because the European government is protecting their citizens and saying no to the products
Hmm.
that America is allowing to go on our heads, in our
Right.
eyes, in our mouths,
Yeah.
and we allow this. Every single dollar spent is our vote.
You know, and that made me like think about how like China had kicked out McDonald's because they were seeing people getting too big. What's I guess dang, and I don't want to attack the freedoms of America, but it seemed like the corporations are taking full advantage of those freedoms because they can't get away with it in
Absolutely.
other countries. You know, the
Absolutely.
Monsantos, the McDonald's, all these cannot get away
Absolutely.
in countries like China and Iran and all that, and Russia. Well, I guess they're becoming capitalist now, Russia too. But anywho, I say that to say, oh man,
Yeah,
I
where's our
guess
protective forces?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and
basically,
I
yeah,
think that's a very good point, especially when you're seeing like the rise of alopecia. Alopecia's been with us,
yeah.
for a long time, but the fact that it's on a upward trajectory
Hmm.
really tells us that it's time for us to do our due diligence, and for us to be our own dictators. We have
Absolutely.
to dictate what's going to go in us, because especially when you once again, we're talking about 97% of the cosmetic industry dollar comes
Right,
from not black people across the world. It comes from black Americans.
right. Yeah,
Period. We are
period.
97% of that industry, financially. We are funding it. We are not sending our kids to get their higher education so that we can fund these cosmetic industries to put poison in our products.
Right,
So, so the bottom line is, we have to be our own dictators. We can dictate this.
right,
We can say no more to the alopecia, just like in Autism Now started a whole movement that moved across the world.
right.
We can say no alopecia now. you know,
That's right.
um, we can start with our diets and really be very selective about what's going into us, and making sure that these are foods that are going to increase the metabolism of our skin, and which will increase the metabolism of our hair
That's right.
health.
Hmm.
Um, we can make sure that we are wearing our hair in styles and developing new styles that does not pull and stretch. And when someone, I remember on a group, someone mentioned being approached on the streets about not taking care of her edges.
Right. Yeah,
These
that's
are the
a big
same
thing.
edges. Yeah, you guys
That's
are working
yeah.
on your edges so much, you're working them away. They're going to be
Hello,
gone in 10
hello.
years.
Leave it the
Um,
fuck alone. Yeah.
I mean, when I see some of these hair techniques that they're, promoting, I have wig techniques. Sorry, I meant to say, I have no problem at all with people choosing to wear wigs. I just did a study, and I had many of my participants, 70% of my participants of the study said that they wear wigs. And what I had to ask, because I know some historical content to it,
Hmm.
I had to ask, why are you wearing the wig? And I was very surprised, that wig wearing has taken its own revolutionary form as
Absolutely.
well.
Absolutely.
People are wearing wigs to protect their own hair underneath.
Mm.
One person who I know, she um, took my study, and she's a performer. She performs, all over the world. She
Mm-hmm.
performs on Broadway, and she has a natural hairstyle in
Mm-hmm.
her private life, and when she's on stage and when she's performing, she wears a wig.
Right.
So when she answered the question, why do you wear a wig? She said, because I don't want them in my natural hair. And
Oh
I
wow.
understand her completely.
Yeah.
Don't touch my hair.
Yeah.
Don't touch my hair. So she wears it to keep, because who are the people dominating, hair and makeup in these industries? They don't usually look like us,
Right. Absolutely.
so I understand she doesn't want them in her hair. So she wears a wig that they can play with and work with. Just don't touch my hair,
Right. Right. Wow.
you
That's
know?
smart. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
really amazing, approach to why women used to wear wigs and
Now,
why they're wearing now.
now they say protective styles.
Mhm.
What is the science? I guess I mean I know protecting against like harsh winds and the heat, but don't we want our skin and hair to adapt to those elements naturally or
Well, okay, so when you think about it, like, yeah, we want our skin to adapt and to have some adaptability, but we also want them to be protected. So why do we wear sunscreen? Is because in some regions the sun is so hot that you will
right?
probably get melanoma. You don't want to expose yourself. Same thing. Our hair it fries in the heat, even the sun
Okay.
heat.
Mm.
Sometimes we want to trap some moisture in our hair. And I'll be honest with you, if there's some days I don't, have any wigs, but you know, I wrap my hair in a scarf. I put my plastic bag on my head. I wrap my hair and I'll go, about my business and to meetings and everything with my cute hair wrap. Little do they know I'm like, setting some moisture in my hair. Um,
Right.
so
But isn't sunlight and air important to your scalp and hair
sunlight is
also?
absolutely, like let's say releasing tension from your hair. I mean, I
Hmm.
think these days the most I even do, if you could see how loose it is,
Yeah.
um, I wear, pins in my hair to kind of, pull it back because I don't want to deal with it. And I've got a lot of hair here, so you know, when you wear it down in some countries, I've had people just so enamored by my children and I's hair. They will on the public bus. I had people just put their hands in my hair.
Right. Without even
Yes,
watch
without
out.
even thinking. Without yeah, it was something like that. So you really have to. You're protecting from many many things: the pollution, the dirt, um the amount of here where we are, it's very
Okay,
hot.
real
I mean,
quick.
we're talking.
Since you started the conversation, what is the
Okay.
fascination with all these races of people wanting to just touch your hair? And I don't even have like they'll say, "Oh, can I touch your hair?" Like the hair is
Right,
already on it. I'm just
the
like, damn,
hairs are
what?
hands already on it, yeah.
Right? Like,
So
can I touch your hair?
right. So I mean, let's be honest. This crowning beauty of ours has
Hmm.
been hidden for centuries now. It's been hidden.
Right, right.
So many of us, even even from childhood, have never even seen the texture of their own hair. I never saw the texture of my own hair until I was in my 20s, because when I was a
Right.
young child, mom couldn't do hair. She does not have that dexterous ability to, be a hairstylist. She couldn't do her own hair, she couldn't do my hair. So a neighbor thought she was helping mom out and put a chemical relaxer in my hair at 4 years old.
No.
So I had no idea
Damn.
what the texture of my own hair was. And for, my mom, that was like, that was saving grace for her. She was, she was in awkward territory trying to take care of my hair herself. So,
Right.
you
She
know,
know. Right. Okay.
she didn't
Damn.
know what to do. So she felt like, she was doing me a favor, and this favor was introduced to her by a neighbor who had her standards, and said, "Okay,
Wow.
well, I'll start taking you to the hair salon every week and they can maintain this." So, it wasn't until one day, I don't really even remember what sparked me to do it, but this is at a time where there was no, Black and is beautiful movement. There was no
Right.
natural hair movement, curly hair, curly girl movement going on. It was just me, just dissatisfied with this burnt, messed up crap that
Wow.
was left called hair on my head.
Right.
And many people liked it because it had some, I like, resemblance of length to it, but to me it just looked like dry mess. And I decided to revolutionize myself, and I cut it off. And
Mm.
so a lot of people all over the world have never even seen um, Black people in their most natural state.
Right.
When I this but back to this survey, this questionnaire that I just completed this week.
Oh,
Uh,
and please promote that. Yeah, please promote your questionnaire too. Let
oh,
people
thank
know.
you. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm done with it. I just turned
Okay.
in
Good. Good.
the essay.
Because this is going
Um,
to all me. Yeah, we going to
it,
Facebook
oh,
it. And we're
I
we're going
will.
to blast it. Yeah.
It
So
really inspired me to create more questionnaires like this. And now that I have a
yeah.
very, good idea of like how to organize this and how to do it on a larger scale, I will be doing this. I would love to create conversations that you guys really want to talk about and find the
Hmm.
science behind it. And one of the best ways is through these, creating these studies, these
Right.
qualitative and quantitative studies where I can get information that's real to you guys. And then, we synthesize this into, what are we actually dealing with and how do we resolve it? So I would love to, because it really taught me a lot. But absolutely, mellow cap, the answer is no. Even though you've never seen it before, because it's been hidden from us, it's been hidden from you.
Hmm.
I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but in the United States, state of Louisiana governor, Aguilera. Wait, I have to double check the last name.
That's
Ruiz,
okay.
I believe, or
Yeah.
Aguilera. He outlawed Black women wearing their hair out because it.
What?
Yes, yes. So women were building their own communities. There was money. I'm sorry. Black people were building their own communities, in Louisiana alongside of these other, groups of people,
Right.
and they had money to spend, and white men were finding these women very attractive. They
Right.
were, leaving their wives, and
I'm gonna.
moving
I
towards,
want to get one of them nigga gals. I'm gonna leave y'all.
and
I'm
move
sorry, I
towards,
can't
yeah.
do it no more. I'm gonna
and,
get
and
me one
so
of them nigga gals.
and so the white community was very upset about this, particularly
Hmm.
white women.
Right.
And they went to the governor at the time and said, "We will not stand for this. We can't have these women, taking our men." So he decreed that Black women must cover their hair by law,
Wow.
punishable by imprisonment.
Damn.
Yes, and this is in the United States of America, of course.
Of
So
course.
so
Damn.
absolutely,
Louisiana.
and over time, when you see these accounts, I mean, from colonized countries in South America, and
Hmm.
it was the same story. White men were becoming attracted to the Black women and their hair. So the mistresses of the home, or even, members of the community itself, were chopping their hair off, were burning their skin, with hot oils, and they called it, they would pig grease them. So they would take this hot um, pig grease, and they would pour it on their heads to burn their hair. So this technique of burning our
Alopecia, course
scalps
alopecia.
work alopecia, and this
Wow,
has been going on for centuries. You
centuries.
know, so this like destruction of and the meaning of Black beauty um, has been threatening white communities for a long time.
Right.
That's why this campaign to diminish our own views of each other has been ingrained in us from generation to generation, because they didn't want their men taken away from them. And um, so here we have it. We have all of these destructive techniques to get rid of our ability to adorn ourselves in our most natural way, because it is a threat. And it
Mm.
has shown itself to be a threat for centuries upon centuries, you know. So, why are people so enamored these days? Is because when they see this, they have the same reaction today that they've had centuries back. They're very attracted to it. They're very, fascinated by it. They
You
want to be
know,
close to it.
Nature Mom, and you just realize you exposed something else too. A lot of these white women, a lot of these companies come from them white women lineage. So we got to look at that too.
So
Hmm.
absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. Going back to the conversation of like, what can we do today? We can make our vote through our dollars. We can make our vote through
But we
supporting.
got to educate them first, though, Nature
Yeah,
Mom.
education is step
Got to
one
start
to
here.
everything.
That's why we
Education
start
is,
here on the
yeah.
arena
Here we
uncensored,
go.
because unless they know, they won't know.
Yeah,
Just like how um, you as a little girl, they didn't know. It was like, oh, okay, perm her hair. So we're. I mean, we got to present the information first
right,
before
right,
we can make the move. We got to lay
right.
out. We got to lay out the foundation. That's what we're doing here today.
Exactly. And little did
Hmm.
we know we had all this wonderful Gloria. You don't know how many friends, who I've had the privilege of introducing them to their real hair. And it's just so strange to me, from country to country, how it's the same issue.
Same
You
issue.
know, it's the same issue. And they're like, wow, I didn't know my hair could be this beautiful. I'm like,
Hmm.
your hair is the most beautiful.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
this is what they don't want us to know. Yeah, we don't have to pull our edges back to look great,
Right. Right.
we can
Absolutely.
let our edges grow out. We can let our hair have a fullness and a poofiness to it, you know. Um, you notice many styles over the centuries always try to develop a poofiness, and we're
Right.
trying to diminish ours. So
Right. So you're saying, to wrap it up, that a lot of these alopecia cases is because we're trying to chase that goalpost that is keep being moved. The stress, like y'all know how I feel about the diet part, and it just. I mean, we look at, like you said, it's nothing new. We look at a long lineage, almost like a curse of just chasing this European image. And the way to do that is we got to change the mindset here in order to like come up with these new styles. And it's fun, oh, man. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, Nature. I'm just like thinking about uh, the natural hair group and how you got all these people trying to come in trying to sell weave and this. I said, no, 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 no. Natural hair group. Like, we're trying to heal. We're trying to bring about a new paradigm. We're not trying to bring all that crazy. Man, shoot.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
just,
and
oh, it's
let's be,
frustrating.
take it one step further. Even these, hair, these synthetic fibers that are braiding hair and they're coming in from China, people really have to be careful about,
Yeah.
the reaction of their own hair to these fibers.
Right.
Some of them are like razor blades. to the hair,
Wow.
and they're they're thin wires of plastic. So
Right.
just imagine, have you ever tried to take one of those and cut an egg?
Right. They'll slice it.
Experiment, experiment, and your hair is just as fragile as an egg, a boiled egg, if you want to like look at it that way.
Right.
So
Damn.
you want to be as gentle as possible. You don't want to be picking,
Right.
combs through it. You don't want to be brushing, yeah, brushing
Right.
through
Say
it.
that again. Thank you.
You want to be very, very gentle. Most of the work that I do on my hair, I do it with my fingertips,
Hmm.
unless I have some type of, because we are losing approximately 200 strands of hair is shedding a day.
Right.
And when you have curly hair, they will get caught in each other. So
Right.
sometimes they get very caught. And so I take, the end of I do have my little afro pick with the fist still.
Hmm.
So I will pick only through, the very ends of that tangling, and usually
Hmm.
with my fingers I can pull them apart. And
Right.
let restatement, not pull. I can loosen them apart.
Loosen, right. Gently loosen them.
Very
Right.
gentle. But let's be gentle with ourselves. We've had to endure a lot the, over the
Hmm.
ages
Right.
as people. Now we're at an age where we can be gentle to ourselves.
That's
We
right.
can be kind to ourselves. We can be kind to our scalps and our skin and our psyches and our mental, dispositions. We can we can set our own individual standards, not against our neighbor even next door. It's our standard of I
That's right.
feel beautiful today because I'm taking care of me. Um, so, I feel beautiful today because I had my carrot beet, apple smoothie,
That's
and
right.
I feel the strength that it's putting in my nails, and the clearing
Hmm.
up of my skin that is doing,
I
it's
had
taking
the
care of my organs.
Yeah. I had the kale mango ginger smoothie this morning.
Oh,
Just to put that in there. Okay.
that sounds delicious.
It is.
I gotta work on getting kale to grow here, because
Okay.
I got some, don't have me arrested, but I had some seeds imported to me so that I can grow some greens. Because unfortunately, greens, this is not the climate for greens, but
Right.
I have my special technique, so let's hope, fingers
Okay.
crossed that they will grow this season. So,
Well,
but
let me tell you, plants are amazing because I don't know if I
amazing.
told you that I tried to plant um a rubber plant in my backyard, and I thought the winter came, and I'm like, oh shoot, it died. It came back, so it
Yeah.
survived. So
Wow.
I'll be damned if I let the damn sun take it out. Because if it survived that harsh winter, it's gonna make it. Because I mean, it
Yeah.
made it. I mean, it's like we had snow about that thick on the ground, and I was like,
Wow.
oh, it's done. It's
Yeah.
done for it, and it came back. So yeah,
Yeah.
plants are
Yeah.
yeah,
Plants are an amazing
they
thing,
are
and
amazing.
and
Yeah,
and the ways that it can help us inside and outside of our
that's right.
body is quite amazing. So let's re-educate ourselves,
That's right.
spend some time. I started off very slowly, like I said, when I was younger. I just chopped all of the creamy crack out, yeah,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
Mella called it. Yeah,
yep.
Mellow, sorry. And gone. But the process of learning how to take care of my hair was a years long process.
Right.
This is a relearning. Just like if you want to cultivate any good relationship, you have to
Hmm.
spend time. You need to spend time cultivating the relationship between you and your hair.
Right. Right.
Finding the right people. You wouldn't just let anyone around your kids or your
Right.
family, right? So
That's right.
you certainly wouldn't just let anybody around your hair.
Facts.
Um, yeah, so, let's be careful. And convenience is something that we really have to work on in our mindset, because I think that convenience really makes us desperate sometimes and make mistakes that we don't want to make.
Right, right. That's true. That is so true. Damn. Oh gosh, that really hit hard. It hit home right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
let's try being diligent more than being convenient. We can make
Right.
everything work with a good time schedule. And this is what starting off learning how to take care of my hair, my children's hair, even
That's
my
right.
husband's hair. He's not African. He also was born with very curly hair,
Hmm.
and these products have nearly straightened his hair.
Dang, yeah. Dang, that's intense. Well, Nature Mate, you gave us a wealth of information. When are you available again? Because I was just thinking of so many other titles that subway from this. I mean, it's just, man, we can.
Yeah, this is a
Woo,
deep conversation. I
it
mean,
is deep conversation.
you can get into all the way to a cellular level. We're talking about metabolism here, so
That's right.
but so let's say you and I will talk, and because yeah, period of time right now is pretty intensive for me. I've got a lot of
Okay, no problem.
yeah, I'm writing a
Well, we're gonna
thesis
be
plus
here. We're gonna be here.
yeah, I'll be
You
here
know,
too.
yeah.
We just
Okay,
have to work out the time,
okay.
and hopefully, you guys. Thanks again for your patience because really, I've been researching a lot. I've been writing a lot. I
Right.
wrote 6 essays in 6 days, so I
Mm.
am pretty tired, and most of those essays were over 2,500 words or more.
Wow. Oh yeah,
So
that's a lot. Ooh,
yeah,
man.
I'm pretty tired,
Shout out to
but
you, Nature Mom.
yeah.
Yeah, getting it in. But
So
yeah, we need that real research, man. We need the
yeah,
right information because you can
I
see
agree.
the wrong information can cause alopecia, it can
Yeah,
jack up our diets, it can cause
yeah,
us high blood pressure, diabetes,
permanent damage,
hypertension. Oh
exactly.
man, yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
dang,
So, and the hardest part is that a lot of this information has been buried and
absolutely.
is intentionally not put on our. You can get all types of, as Trump would say, fake news.
Fake
It's right
news.
at your fingertips.
It's all fake
Fake
news.
news. But to get the real,
Just look
you
at the
know,
gas prices.
yes,
It's all Biden's fault.
yes,
Y'all should have voted for me. Gas prices were excellent. Now look
yes,
at
yes,
you.
yes.
You better vote for Trump 2024. Vote for Trump. Because if
He
you
better
don't, the
change his
gas,
diet.
I'm just
He's
telling
not gonna
you,
make it. He's he needs to, like,
with
slow
these
down on
gas
the pork
prices, you're not
products.
going to make it with these gas prices. Listen to
Yeah,
me. Don't listen to Biden.
right. But
Trump.
absolutely, I mean, finding real information
Right.
is like going on a ghost hunt. So, it really takes a lot of time, guys. So,
Right.
I'm just happy that I am able to pull this information together for you guys. Just
Man, I'm
sorry I
glad.
fell asleep
Oh no, no,
first.
you're good. I'm glad that you can share it with us, and I'm glad you
Yeah,
have access to it because, like I said, people will challenge you on the silliest nonsense, man. You know what I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying? I
yeah.
mean, it just, I mean, especially when you get in the realm of diet. I love dealing with
We could
plant
definitely
based
talk
whole
about that.
foods. Let's do that.
Yeah,
'Cause you
let's
know what?
yeah.
We need to do that. We need to do that because I
Yeah,
still get
just
people.
bring the science, I always
Okay,
say,
okay, okay,
and not promoted science. We'll bring, the sources that are without corporate funding, and let's
okay.
see.
Yeah, I want to finally destroy this meat and dairy and eggs is good for like humans. Period. I want to destroy that. I just want to put the nail in that coffin. Like,
Okay.
'cause, yeah, we're not omnivores.
Okay.
Cats and dogs are omnivores. They're true omnivores. Like they eat grass. Well, we don't. We don't have fangs. We have flat teeth. Don't get me started. Don't get me started, Nature Mom. But yeah, we got to do a tag team on that because people still out
Oh,
here with that nonsense, thinking that. So yeah. But yeah, I'm glad we touched on the alopecia. Do we need to do another? I'm gonna get with you because we need to do so many. Like I said, it was so many
yeah, there's a lot of
other.
points here.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
stuff. Like when you went into the history, I mean, you went down the
Well,
timeline of like from the '60s to the Jerry curl. Yeah, you really
yeah.
hit it. You really hit it.
Well, I think what's important is what I mean, because I Deacon really Deacon should be on the panel. He
I
made
know.
more comments today than than all of us. But um, and Mello had a lot to say,
Yep. Yep.
especially about we're talking about like cultural appropriateness,
Hmm.
people putting hands in hair. I
Yeah.
saw Mello said a couple of things about Becky, keep your hands out of my hair.
Yep.
This is really like this cultural um superiority complex, of like there's still being this belief of hierarchy and better than, and so
Right.
much better than I could put
Right.
my hands on you. I think that that's a big topic there as well.
Right.
There's a lot. So I say let's what you guys want to talk about. This is a community, and I'm enjoying us speaking together. So throw it out there. What do you guys want to? Where you want to dig?
Right.
Let's uncover the truths and compare it and be a peer community that can evaluate and analyze this information together.
Okay. Cool. All right. Nature
All
Mom.
right, guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
always
And
a pleasure.
yeah, it's a pleasure having you. Thank you once again. You always
Thank you.
bring the information. And yeah, y'all stay, hit the like, subscribe, stay subscribed because Nature Mom is coming back and she's going to bring more information. So please, y'all, and share this video because people need to hear this. All right, Nature Mom.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for hearing my research. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
All right, we out. Peace.